Niall Ferguson, The Square and the Tower, Networks and Power, From the Freemasons to Facebook. In The Square and the Tower, Networks and Power, From the Freemasons to Facebook, Niall Ferguson explores the balance between networks and hierarchies throughout history. From the economic networks created by steamships and railways to the influence of communication networks like the Internet, this book examines how these interconnected nodes have shaped societies and driven historical change. By understanding the connections running through the nodes and networks, their importance, and the weak links between networks, readers get a glimpse into the functioning of these complex structures. More importantly, this book highlights the ways networks and hierarchies share traits and how they shape different aspects of social and political life.
Hierarchy versus networks. History is not just shaped by hierarchies at the top, but also the interconnected networks of people and ideas. While hierarchies usually have the final say, networks have played a crucial role in transforming societies and driving historical change. Networks are sets of interconnected nodes, whether they be people, trading ports, or family members, connected by commonalities such as shared status or values. Homophily leads people to form networks with those similar to them. Both hierarchies and networks share similarities, but networks are more interconnected. By exploring how networks function, one can gain insights into how historical change occurs. The power of connected nodes. The effectiveness of a network depends on the interconnectivity of its nodes. There are different ways to measure the importance of nodes, including degree centrality, betweenness centrality, and closeness centrality. Nodes with high centrality, or those that are better connected, are considered as hubs. Strong and direct connections are essential, but weak ties between different networks are also necessary as they serve as bridges that connect different social worlds. Brokers can also step in as intermediaries when weak ties are missing. The women who ran the literary salons of Paris did this by hosting Enlightenment thinkers and revolutionaries from different groups, thus facilitating a dialogue between groups that created the conditions for the French Revolution. Networks that changed the world. In the 16th century, the world was ruled by powerful individuals and top-down hierarchy. However, two networks emerged that would challenge this order: Spain and Portugal's global trading network and Gutenberg's printing press. The trading network, fueled by new technologies and shared knowledge, challenged traditional hierarchies wherever it went. Meanwhile, the printing press allowed books and texts to become more affordable and widely available, sparking new information networks across Europe. Printing houses became the hubs of this network and people flocked to them in search of knowledge. Together, these networks transformed the world and set the stage for a new era of connectivity and information exchange. The printing press and the resilience of networks. The rise of the printing press revolutionized not only the pricing of books but also the circulation of written materials that challenged hierarchies. Martin Luther's Reformation was an excellent example of how the printing press helped him disseminate his theses attacking the Catholic Church swiftly. German printing houses published 5,000 editions throughout the century, and 8 out of 10 were in German, opening up access to regular people. The spread of Protestantism was viral, thriving where books were abundant. However, the popularity of the new creed prompted a ferocious rearguard action from the Catholics, hoping to suppress Protestantism. Despite attempts to eliminate the core individuals advocating for the new faith, the movement remained resilient due to the even distribution of centrality across its members. The triumph of the Reformation eventually undermined the Catholic dogma, enabling people to think outside the box, thus paving the way for the 17th-century scientific revolution. The role of networks in revolutionary movements. The establishment of printing presses, the Reformation and the scientific revolution were threatening the order of the hierarchical societies on both sides of the Atlantic. Networks came to play a vital role with regards to spreading revolutionary ideas. The American Revolution, for instance, relied on several associational networks that helped spread these ideals. Boston, in particular, had 5 associations that played central roles in the revolution: with brethren from the Freemasons making notable contributions. The men who were part of these organizations helped to promote revolutionary thought by serving as weak ties between different networks. They also helped to establish interconnected networks that helped spread revolutionary ideas to the 13 colonies. Enlightenment and the French Revolution also relied on the same key philosophies. Voltaire and Rousseau were important nodes in the latter, using letter writing to connect different thinkers and promote republican thought. However, France was more hierarchical, so the French Revolution was more brutal, and the Jacobins tried to replace the king's hierarchy by imposing their own order, leading to a new European hierarchy with the advent of the Napoleonic Empire. Networks and hierarchies in Europe. After the French Revolution, Napoleon spread his hierarchical model across Europe, which caused his enemies to band together in a pentarchy that ruled for a century. Their interconnected hierarchies in this network effectively maintained peace and order because all nations accepted their final say in any matter. This system was so effective that there was not a single occasion in which all five powers went to war before 1914. British Empire's rise. The British Empire rose to global dominance in the 19th century by incorporating local hierarchies in its imperial network, investing in technology and transportation, and establishing the foundations for globalization. In the 19th century, the British Empire emerged as the world's most powerful nation, building a vast empire and ruling the waves. The British Empire's success can be attributed to its ability to make use of existing hierarchies in its imperial network. For instance, the British colonial administrator, Frederick Lugard, pioneered the indirect rule system that incorporated local hierarchical institutions into the empire's own structures. This system devolved power to chiefs and sub-chiefs and granted them a limited amount of freedom to work for the empire. The technological advancements facilitated by the Industrial Revolution and the emergence of strong capitalist networks of banks were critical to the empire's rise. Railroads, telegram networks, and improved shipping soon connected the far-flung corners of the empire. For example, in 19th-century India, more than 25,000 miles of railroad were laid, connecting the country like never before. The transatlantic telegraph cable, constructed with imperial products such as Malayan rubber, laid the foundations for globalization and the unprecedented mass movement of people. Improvements in shipping were also significant. The cost of shipping between Liverpool and New York, for example, fell by 50% between 1830 and 1880, making travel faster and less expensive. This established the conditions for the first mass migrations of the modern era. Between 55 and 58 million Europeans left the Old World behind and set sail for the Americas, while another 50 million Indian and Chinese people sought their fortunes across Southeast Asia, along the eastern shores of Africa, and Australia. However, this period was tumultuous, and the arrival of migrants led to a populist backlash. Rising nationalism and racism were closely linked to this trend. Chinese migrants on the West Coast in the United States were badly mistreated, while German populist politicians railed against Eastern European Jewish migrants. The condition established in this era became the foundation for globalization and the modern world as we know it today. Networks and the rise of totalitarianism. The proliferation of networks played a significant role in the rise of Soviet communism and Nazi fascism. Unlike their liberal opponents, Bolsheviks and Nazis were well connected and their ideologies spread like viruses. Through these networks, they instilled fear in the population, leading to widespread disconnection and atomization. Despite the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, the Soviet Union endured, ultimately pitting itself against the United States and its NATO allies in the post-war era. The period of relative peace in Europe under the Pentarchy was shattered in 1914 with the outbreak of World War I, ushering in an era of emerging networks undermining established hierarchies. The rise of Soviet communism and Nazi fascism was assisted by their respective networks. Bolsheviks succeeded due to their being deeply entrenched, well-connected, and with Lenin at the helm, having sidelined liberal opponents, who themselves had only recently taken power. The spread of their ideology was like a virus, leading to the Bolshevik Revolution and the imposition of an extreme hierarchy on atomized citizens under Joseph Stalin. In Germany, the Nazi network rose to power through the ballot box. Unlike other fascist movements throughout Europe, the Nazi vote grew exponentially due to the rich associational life present in Germany, primarily in urban areas. Through this network, the party sowed fear in the population, leading to the widespread disconnection of Germans. Despite the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, the Soviet Union remained a force to be reckoned with. In the post-war era, it emerged as a superpower, competing with the United States and its NATO allies for world dominance. The proliferation of networks played a significant role in the rise of totalitarianism, instilling fear in populations, leading to atomization and disconnection. Networks versus hierarchies. The post-war period witnessed a global power struggle between the two hierarchical structures of the US-led NATO alliance and the Soviet-led Warsaw Pact. Alfred Sloan's M-form corporations became popular, emphasizing a hierarchical approach in the economy. In contrast, networks regained importance in communist countries like Poland in the late 20th century, ultimately leading to Solidarity trade unions' triumph in the elections, marking the end of communism's dominance in Eastern Europe. The emergence of the network. The breakdown of hierarchical structures in the 1970s paved the way for the interconnected world we live in today. The rise of interdependence called for a new type of network that was open, complex, and flexible. The Internet, born out of a few computers talking to each other, became the embodiment of this idea. Unlike hierarchies that relied on central planning, the Internet grew organically and was regulated only by its users. This led to a vast spider's web of user-created content, all connected by hyperlinks, and perpetuated the spirit of the Internet's early days. The world of interdependence that we live in today would not be possible without the network. Networks driving change. The power of networks in shaping the world we live in cannot be ignored. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, were carried out by a highly connected group with only one crucial node, while the U.S. response ended up creating a vacuum in Iraq that other Islamist networks quickly filled. Social media played a critical role in the Arab Spring uprisings, which resulted in new networks, such as ISIS. Traditional hierarchical strategies have proven ineffective against these networks, making it crucial to understand their structure to combat them effectively. Social media disrupts hierarchies. In recent years, social media has been a powerful tool for disrupting top-down institutions in both the Middle East and the West. This is because social media allows for the polarization of opinions and can be used to target specific audiences within homophilic networks. The success of the Brexit referendum in the UK and Donald Trump's presidential campaign in the US were both propelled by targeted social media advertisements and viral posts that sparked offline discussions. These campaigns were able to effectively bypass traditional campaigning techniques and reach a wider, more diverse audience. The Internet revolution. The Internet has rapidly spread across the globe, and its impact on society could be as transformative as the printing press. However, technology has become an oligopoly controlled by a few dominant American companies, which has led to closed networks and the spread of fake news. To reconcile this, we must regulate networks and reconcile hierarchies in cyberspace to prevent unrest and a turn towards authoritarianism.
As we progress into the 21st century, networks continue to play a significant role in societal changes and upheavals. Whether it's the Arab Spring fueled by social media or Brexit and the Trump presidency arising from targeted online campaigns, networks have demonstrated immense power to challenge established hierarchies. While these interconnected systems have their benefits, such as the rapid spread of knowledge through the internet, they have also been exploited by malicious actors to spread propaganda and disinformation. To address these challenges effectively, a combination of strong networks and hierarchy structures could provide the stability needed in today's fast-changing world.